Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Anything Goes with Anna Rose. And I have the king directly behind me. If you are listening to this, please go to Spotify and or the YouTube. And I would lovingly suggest to watch this episode. It's a really special one for me. It's a monumental one for I suppose for us, essentially, right?
The studio itself, yeah.
The studio. This is the very first episode number 111 for Anything Goes that has been recorded in the brand new studios, which is still incomplete, and the very first one for the studios in essence. So congratulations to me, congratulations to us. And I asked Ryan to be here in the background initially just to be a part of this moment, and then he has to go help the Sparky. So
Yeah.
I love you.
So I'm off.
Ciao. And if you are still with me, thank you for being here. I also just want to say the theme of this episode is all about becoming her and your surrendering into your becoming and the evolution of, or the identity alchemy of becoming the woman you were born to be. But I really want to emphasize that this episode is not going to be perfect. I specifically am filming this for that reason. I'm also going to speak about the story of why I'm re-recording this, which was just poetic for the theme of this particular episode, essentially. But you're going to hear noise. Maybe the boys next door are drilling. It is loud. You can see that I am in an incomplete studio, which was completely part of the theme of this episode. I really, really wanted to get into our studios and record before we were done. This meant a lot to me. I am so big on telling the story of the messy middle and showing the story of the messy middle. And my loves, we are in the messy middle right now. And so, yeah, I apologize, but also I don't at all. Just hunker down. When and if you hear a drill or you can hear the scissor lift or whatever else, smile, enjoy it. Just focus on my voice and know that that's honestly part of why I wanted to record this episode. Now, I am re-recording this. I recorded this episode on Sunday and I was really proud of it. I absolutely loved it. I felt like there was some solid riffs in there that I trust are going to channel back through me. And I had at the start hit this Rodecaster Pro as a joke because there is round of applause because I had started it and I'm like, we're in the studio and rah, rah, rah. And I hit a button because when I've played with it in the past, I could hear it. It was like round of applause or an obnoxious horn. Anyway, fun fact, I hit it on Sunday and we couldn't hear anything. And I'm like, oh, that's so weird. I can't hear anything. But I'd hit a button that changed my voice completely to a chipmunk. So Katie, the bestie who also works for me, and she will be editing this right now, called me, FaceTimed me crying with laughter. I'm stressed off my face at Beacon trying to fit 10 billion things in my car. And she was literally crying with laughter. And she's like, sis, listen to this. It was the funniest thing in the world. Anyway, I said to her, I was like, I cannot laugh right now. We will in time. But I just got to fucking fix this. So here I am fixing it. I've sat back down to record episode 111. Honestly, I cannot explain it cellularly. I infinitely trust my life. It sucked in the moment because I always have time. We come from where time itself is created. So I truly believe that there is always an infinite amount of time, but it's about prioritizing your time. And so I have had to sit back down, find some time to prioritize and re-record this. And here I am. We've got the Sparky in Studio 1 right now doing his rough-in or second rough-in, which is basically it. I've got curtain upholsterers on the way in 20 minutes. So I'm going to try and get this done in 20 minutes to quote us up on huge custom made curtains. If you're watching, you'll maybe be able to see, but the garage door behind me, beg your pardon. And yeah, it's just chaos. And then we have a house inspection. We're also currently looking to move. We've been looking since last September, but we've got a house inspection at 10:45. So I am fitting about 50 things into a 45-minute block. And here you are with me. And that's kind of the beautiful segue into this whole conversation that I wanted to have with you today on the art of surrendering into your becoming. And what I wanted to talk about, A, of course, is my own experience in this, and B, really emphasizing and evoking a fire, I hope, within you to understand that life is not a dress rehearsal. You are here for such a finite amount of time. You are born terminal. You are here to die. And that sounds so morbid, but to me it just feels so natural. And I think it's a really beautiful, albeit dramatic way to live. But you are literally born perfect, firstly, but also terminal. And you're here for a blip in time as 1 in 8 billion people on a ball of gas that is spinning in infinite space, connected to infinite consciousness. And you think you're here for mediocrity, right? You think you're here just to wake up, go to a job, watch Netflix at night, repeat. And for some of you, that's beautiful and that's perfect. And if you're happy, then I love that for you. But I'm not speaking to you today. I'm speaking to the woman and the man and the human that ultimately understands that they feel those embers burning, the flames wanting to burn, right? But the embers within, knowing and recognizing that they were made for more, they were born for more, and they want more, and how to evoke that. And what I wanted to get across today is 3 parts. And I truly believe that the art of surrender and the art of becoming has a 3-part process. And I have learned this through true embodiment. And where I've landed with all of this is part number 1, and we'll go through them all, but the terrifying beginning. Part number 2 is the messy middle. And then part number 3 is the identity alchemy. It is the part where you alchemize naturally, infinitely, consciously, and beautifully into your becoming. But you have to understand what I just said. The start was the terrifying beginning. The middle was messy, the messy middle. And then the end was the identity alchemy. 2/3 of that journey is fucked, my friends. 2/3 of that journey can feel hard, can feel terrifying, can be painful, can cut you off from friends, from family, because you outgrow them. You're too big for them now. You're too bright for them now. And for me, I'm always like, fuck that. Let your light burn the world down. Let your light burn the world down. That's how big I want you to burn. That's how bright I want you to spark. And where I'm going to use motherhood, my journey into motherhood, essentially, right? The fertility and conception journey quickly as part of the story and explanation I can give on this, but predominantly the warehouse, right? The studios, as we are calling them. So for me, I want you to understand the terrifying beginning, right? What does that look like? 2 things. Number 1, growth can honestly feel like grief. And I just want you to understand that you have permission to feel that growth often feels like grief. And that is where, honestly, most people are wiped out. Most people are immediately taken out of the game because growth does feel hard, and growth does feel sad, and growth does feel terrifying, and growth does feel like loss of identity, loss of friends, loss of some family, loss of who you believed yourself to be. And that can feel like grief. And grief is a real, tangible, sad, terrifying itself feeling to feel. And most people deny, suppress, and ignore that. So step number 1, when we're in that terrifying beginning is, and they say if your dreams don't terrify you, they're not big enough. I fully believe that. I'm like a fundamental believer in that. But the terrifying beginning, how that can sometimes feel for people is that growth is so close to grief, it like kisses the edge of it, that it's too big, too hard, too terrifying, and so you take yourself out. You're already out in fucking level 1, right? Game over. Do not collect $200. Do not pass go. Game over. You succumb back to the safety and the sanctity of who you already are and the comfortability of the life that you're leading, which is not enough. And you know that, right? You know that. So growth is grief. And the second thing I really want to emphasize in this part is that you're allowed to want more. You are allowed to desire bigness. You're allowed to want to grow. You are allowed to want more money, more business, more sex, more fun, more freedom, more of insert your desire here. You are allowed to want a life so beautiful and so exquisite and so big and so abundant. It feels terrifying. You're allowed to want that. Because like I said, you are here for such a fucking finite amount of time on a ball of miraculous, or like miracles, right? We are literally walking, talking miracles. The fact that we are even here, how the fuck we are even here, it's one in like 4 trillion chance of being born. And yet you're accepting your life where it's at, which you know you want more from. So recognize, understand. Step number 1, that growth can feel like grief, and also that the beginning is terrifying, but you're allowed to desire a life that feels terrifying. And if I liken it to my experience, I've shared this on a couple of podcasts, but I was terrified, fucking terrified to sign this lease. It felt way too big, way too risky, way too scary, way too much, way too hard, I didn't need it. I was comfortable, sis. I was comfortable. I am always comfortable. I'm always happy. I'm always grateful. It is always enough where I am. And yet spirit calls me every time. God damn it. And I answer. And so my terrifying beginning was sleeplessness. I couldn't sleep. I was just running numbers. I was running the vision. I was running the possibility. I was running the hope of it. I was running the bigness of it. I was like, is this honestly possible? And every time I asked that question, when I ran that story to the end, right? And this is such a key in life. I always run the story to the end. So I didn't take the lease. Okay, so we don't take the lease on this once in a lifetime opportunity. And then what? And I run that story to the end. Then I keep going as I am, but then I'm constantly wanting more. And then I see someone else take this space, and then it's a missed opportunity. Right? I run that story to the end, and my body physically contracts. I run the story to the end in my terrifying beginning of, okay, we sign the lease. We take it on for 5 years, to extend to 10, let's look at that. How does that feel in my body? We exceed all of our expectations. We put money down that we have anyway. There's no loss. There's no gain. We have it in the bank. I'm, building this beautiful empire with the king, the love of my life, the dream that I've actually always fought for and never given up on. And what does that look like? Right? I ran that story to the end, and running that story to the end, it was just an undeniable, impossible yes. I'm doing this no matter what. I'm doing this until. But what I want you to recognize and understand that so often this is where you are taken out of the game, in the terrifying beginning. But remember, the end, the identity alchemy, is the natural, infinite, conscious becoming, right? So you're going to get there. If you can just get past this start, that's where you're headed. And that is so beautiful and so exquisite and so exciting and so abundant, let me assure you. So we moved through, so we did that. The other thing for me was choosing to become a mother, because my motherhood journey, and it's my body, my story, my choices, has been exceedingly conscious. It's the most conscious decision I've ever made in my whole entire life. How I've waited, how I've made other choices when I wasn't ready, how I have searched for the king. I ended an incredible marriage because it was amazing, but not it. I knew we weren't the one, I knew he wasn't the father, essentially. All of these really hard, difficult, terrifying decisions to land me right back at the beginning where it's this is it. I'm never going to be ready, but this is it. So I'm still in the terrifying beginning of that, right? So actually, no, we're in the messy middle. We're definitely in the messy middle, right, with conception, which leads me to part 2, okay, on the art of surrendering to becoming. The messy middle is glorious. It is, as the name suggests, messy. It's going to look a little like this if you're watching Spotify on YouTube. So the messy middle is when you're in the trenches. It is the early mornings. It is it's motherhood, right? It is the early mornings. It is the late nights. It is the uncertainty. It is the risk, right? Emphasis on. It is when you have all of the outgoings and none of the incomings yet. It is the hard, right? It is it still can feel terrifying as a truck pulls past. But the messy middle is where you're going to land. And please let me also say, the messy middle is also beautiful. It is the yes and both life, right? The ethos that is part of my DNA. So the messy middle, I want you to understand that although there's going to be some really late nights and some really early mornings and so much crushing self-doubt and a lot of risk and all of those quote unquote hard feelings and emotions and quite frankly, physical activations and things that you have to work through, there is also this stunning other side of consistent growth, right? You're still in that growth phase. There is breakthroughs. There is identity becoming, like you're starting to already make choices. You're starting to get more confidence. You're starting to have more courage. You're starting to show up more. You're starting to use your voice louder. Like, no, actually, I don't want that. Or no, actually, you're going to come in on a public holiday, which is what I've been saying to the trades, and it's working. So you're going to use your voice more. There's so many highs in the messy middle, which is beautiful, and you stay present in them and you use them as social proof that you're doing the damn thing, that this is working, that it's all possible, that you are made infinite, right? That it's like you're doing it. So that's the messy middle. And physically, we're still obviously there right now. We have 2 weeks until the proposed launch, but we've just learned, my loves, that there is another fucking public holiday on Monday. I honestly cannot fathom. I have never in 12 years of being my own boss paid attention to public holidays. So because I'm now working with trades who absolutely pay attention to public holidays, I have been made aware of how many goddamn public holidays there are. And what the hell? There are so many. But anyway, so there is another public holiday on Monday, Labor Day or something, which is going to lay all the trades out. The Sparky is coming in, however. But again, I'm sharing this because I'm like, you guys, we are in the messy middle. It is just task after task after task and issue after issue after issue and fun after fun after fun and growth after growth after growth. But it's accepting and surrendering and allowing and being in all of it, all of the time, in all ways, always. And it's surrendering to the fact that I chose this, I wanted this, I'm growing through this, and I'm becoming her in this. And it's staying the course. It's trusting yourself. It's backing yourself. It's knowing yourself, and it is loving yourself. So being in the messy middle, right? And so for us, as I said, obviously step number 1, that is the warehouse. Step number 2, from that motherhood perspective, the messy middle for us right now looks like the fertility journey. So terrifying beginning, conscious conception. Messy middle, absolutely the fertility journey. And where we're at right now is just sperm counts, motility, getting things up to make sure that we impregnate me. But that's the messy middle, and I'm surrendered to it. I'm not stressed about it, right? That's the key. That is the key. You're going to have stress in the messy middle. It can feel overwhelming in the messy middle. It can feel impossible in the messy middle, and yet on the other side of that, we're so close to the identity alchemy, right? And it's that trust. It is that backing yourself. So trusting yourself, backing yourself, knowing yourself, and loving yourself through that process. I've gotten a lot of questions recently on my Instagram, and I want to speak to it about the messy middle. And people have been asking me, but how do you keep going? And how do you silence the noise in your head? And how do you work through self-doubt? And the answer remains the same always. The only way through it is through it, right? And the only way through the self-doubt, the criticism, which all happens right here. It absolutely will turn up 10x in the terrifying beginning. It stays pretty consistent in the messy middle, and then silences, shuts up in the identity alchemy. But in the messy middle, when you have all of that, the doubt, and anytime, the doubt, the criticism, the noise in your head, you're the boss. You are the boss. You are not your thoughts. You are separate to your thoughts because you're aware of your thoughts. So the idea is, for me, whenever it's like, you can't do this, this is too hard, this feels impossible, it's catching it, thanking it for coming, and reframing it and creating the new neural pathways, because we have complete control over our neuroplasticity, creating the new neural pathways. I'm creating the super highways consistently in my mind of the positive thoughts, the well-meaning thoughts, the abundant thoughts, the I can do this thoughts, instead of allowing my thoughts to remain unconscious and spiral with this is too hard, this is impossible, right? And this is all the messy middle. So we're in it. We are in it, my loves. We're in the messy middle, and this is a big reason why I wanted to film in here today, just to say, but look at what else can happen in the messy middle. We can film podcast episodes. I can make it be so meaningful. Unbeknownst to me, when I was recording this was episode 111, episode 111. I was like, are you kidding me? Look at all the beautiful signs. Look for the joy. Look for the gratitude. Remain gratitude always in this messy middle. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Know yourself. Back yourself and love yourself. And then take a breath. Because on the other side of that, and as you come through that, and this is truly where I am landing into right now, and I never speak for Ryan, but I absolutely know he is anchoring and landing into this space right now for himself as well. But it is the identity alchemy. And what that looks like and feels like, and I suppose sounds like for me, is the becoming. It is that you've not stopped in the terrifying beginning. You have believed that wanting and desiring a life that is so beautiful, it is terrifying, is you're worthy of it, right? You've trusted that enough. You've dreamed big enough. You've allowed all the doubt, all the noise, all the criticism, all the everything to fade away enough to make a choice, to sign a document, to start the podcast, to launch the company, to leave the relationship, whatever, to have the hard conversation, the terrifying beginning. You've done that. You've then stepped into, which is huge, that itself, bang, an identity shift straight away. You're then in the messy middle. You have known yourself, loved yourself, trusted yourself, and backed yourself through that, right? You've moved through that. You're consistently choosing yourself every single day over and over again. And then you move into the identity alchemy, which is where the magic happens, which is really where I feel like I'm stepping into now. And as I said, I can see it and feel it in Ryan as well. And I think he's behind me. I've heard him come in. But the beautiful thing about identity alchemy is that natural, intrinsic, conscious choices. It's the energy. It's the way you show up. It's the voice you start to use. It's the command that you have. It's the beliefs that you hold. It's the boundaries that you set. It's the boundaries that you hold. It is that new woman or man that you become where beautifully and powerfully you don't recognize yourself anymore. And the woman that you stole, the man that you were when you started, whatever it is, signing the document, launching the podcast, starting the business, leaving a job, starting a job, setting a boundary, cutting family off, whatever that is for you, that terrifying beginning, this part, it's like, fuck, I'd do that in a minute. Right? You look at the old you and you're like, you honor them and you love them and you're like, fuck, I'm so proud of them because who I am now, it's unquestionable. I'd sign that document. I'd start that podcast. Man, I'm already negotiating the next lease. I was out there today literally telling Oliver, dead set, like, we are taking over the next warehouse. Give me 6 months. I'm outgrowing the warehouse for tour, right? I never, ever, I'm looking you in the eyeballs and telling you right now, 2 months ago when I started this, that's terrifying for me. That would have felt way too big, way too risky, way too much. No chance in hell. And I was like, give me 6 months, less, right? Because the woman I am now, stepping into that identity alchemy, saying yes when it felt terrifying in the beginning, moving through the messy middle, becoming her in every choice, in every day, in every habit, in every using my voice, in every boundary set, in every command I made. She has landed right here, right now. And you can too. And this is where I want to get to. But what happens along the way is people take themselves out of the game at the start, the terrifying beginning. So you never become them, her, him. People start, which is incredible, and they have some shifts, which is amazing. But they get to the messy middle and something happens. And it's easier for them it's easier for you to succumb to the safety of who you were instead of allowing the fire to burn you down and rise back up as the phoenix, right, in the becoming. It's just easier in the messy middle to give up and to succumb back to the safety of who you were, then truly become who you were meant to be. And that's where I believe, I actually believe most people are taken out in the terrifying beginning, but the rest, 5% are taken out in the messy beginning. 90% are taken out in the 90% I think are taken out in the terrifying beginning. 5% are taken out in the messy middle. And then the rest, that final 5%, which is honestly statistically the truth, right? It's not even 80-20 with Pareto. The people that get to there, that sign the document, that post the podcast and get to 100 episodes, right? That leave the relationship, that have the hard conversation, that leave a job, that start a job, whatever that terrifying beginning is for you. If you make that decision and don't allow that to take you out, beautiful, you've beat out 90% of people. If you then stay the course in the messy middle, right, and get to the end, that end point of the launch, the booked out business, the new job beginning, the boundaries set and held with the family, whatever that looks like for you, and you're there beautifully, powerfully, wonderfully, then you've beat out 95% of people in the world. That is just the truth. 5% of people are never willing to work hard enough, do enough, show up enough, use their voice enough, set a boundary, hold a boundary enough to get to that point. And I'm telling you right now, if you can recognize the patterns, if you understand the journey, which is this is just where I've landed with it, that if you understand and recognize that there is a terrifying beginning. It's going to feel fucking terrifying. Everybody feels terrifying. It is not unique to you. Your job is to feel the fear and do it anyway. Recognize that growth in that phase can honestly feel like grief, and that you have permission to actually desire and want and deserve a life that feels terrifying, a goal that is big enough to feel terrifying. Recognizing that you are so abundantly worthy of that, and then moving your ass through the messy middle and getting to the other side, that is where the magic occurs. And I just want you to know, I believe in you for this. I trust in you for this. I back you for this. And I will love you through this process, in this podcast, in my work, my inner circle, self-love school, this warehouse. We create it all. I create it all for you. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I wanted to try to get this done in 20 minutes. The cameras turn off after half an hour. So I wanted this to be short. I wanted this to be sharp. I wanted it just to be like a punch to the soul, to be like you to recognize your patterns, because you will, and go, fuck, I'm the woman or I'm the man that takes myself out in the terrifying beginning. I have all of these dreams and all of these ideas, and I haven't started any of them because it feels overwhelming. Same bro, same sis, right? It will feel overwhelming. It will feel terrifying. It will feel stressful. It will feel like too big of a risk. And for some of you, that risk could even honestly be just having a hard conversation. So I'm really recognizing and honoring that. I'm not saying that it's about, quitting your job, burning your life to the ground, starting a business off of nothing. I'm talking about that terrifying beginning could be having a really, really honest, hard conversation with a family member or your loved one or a husband or a wife, being like, this isn't it, or leaving a toxic job. Like that could be your terrifying beginning, and you stay because it's just easier to succumb to the safety of who you are versus become who you were born to be. So my wish and my prayer and my trust is that you use this episode to light the fire in your life, to burn it all to the ground, whatever it is, and to move through those 3 phases to become that woman or man that you were born to be, and go live the life that you so deserve and shine so fucking bright that you burn the world. Beautifully though, powerfully, poetically. So I will leave it there, but until next time, I always look at my tattoo when I say this, but stay wild, my loves. I'm back. I've jumped back. Before I let you go, I actually just really wanted to say, guys, I have never been more fired up. I have never been more in purpose. I have never been more on fire. I have never wanted to give more, serve more, be more, earn more, love more, all more myself. But I offer myself in all of myself, right? My coaching, my affirmations, my journal prompts I'm using. I give the books that I'm reading that month. I give it all in my container that's called My Inner Circle. So if you get anything out of this podcast, if you love following me for free on the podcast, on my stories, on YouTube, like wherever you find me, wherever you love to follow me, if you feel like you want more, come and join My Inner Circle. It is $47 a month. It is the biggest no-brainer I have ever created. I wanted to give complete accessibility with absolute value and high elite level coaching. I've got 12 years of experience. I'm about to launch my 4th company in my 4th different industry. This will be my 5th business. So 5 different industries. Like, there is not much more that I could do in my life of social proof that if you want to come and learn and be amongst and just be in the fire and the energy of a woman that is the living embodiment of what I teach, come and hang out. It's $47 a month, as I said. You will get access to every recording I have done from the beginning. So there's 10 recordings, 90-minute recordings already in there. There is 10 months of affirmations. There is 10 months of journal prompts. There is all of my life-changing top 10 reads of all time. I put the book I'm reading every single month. There is just so much in there for $47 a month. It is ridiculous. So yeah, if you like what you hear, essentially, or if you like what you get from me on the podcast, I cannot recommend joining my inner circle enough. And then of course also, please, if you love to listen, if you are enjoying the podcast, I would love and adore if you could give me a review. It goes so far. It blows my mind how many I honestly have for my little old space. But I do check, I read them. I'm always so grateful for every single one. But I really wanted to say that today, to be like, you're going to watch me in the next couple of months grow even more, succeed even more, earn even more. I'm on a new level. I'm at a new level. I'm going to a new level. And I literally have never been a look at me coach. I will forever be a come with me coach. And the come with me aspect happens in my inner circle. It's just the easiest way for me to deliver it. I have, like I said, I coach high level slides. I'm in there for 90 minutes, face to camera, just hour of power, 90 minutes of power. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Anything Goes. And if today's episode gave you maybe a new perspective, a little bit of a laugh, you learned something new, or just loved our trip to Taboo Town if we went there, it would honestly mean the world to me if you could leave me some love with writing a review and sharing this episode to your socials. You have no idea how much that helps my little podcast get out in the world. If you love what you gain from these conversations weekly with me as well and want more than just listening in, come and join my inner circle. It's my monthly mastermind where for just $47 a month, the real magic happens. You get me up close, no filter, live coaching. And if you get what you get from this free podcast, imagine what you get in a paid container. Links are in the show notes, friends. And until next time, stay wild.